Hi, my name is Maddie, and I worked with Daniel, Rory, and Alex to create a visualization for Alliance Sales and Marketing. Alliance Sales and Marketing is a nationwide food broker marketing company, which is located in Charlotte, North Carolina, that could use our visualization to help track their clients' sales and compare them to the previous year on a week-to-week basis. We extracted raw data from 4 different data sets and combined them into one centralized location where we transformed the data prior to creating the visualization. By doing so, we were able to remove inconsistencies and redundancies in the data to provide a more accurate and complete representation of Alliance Sales and Marketing sales report. Furthermore, by transforming the data, we were able to improve the quality of the data while preventing errors. After loading the extracted and transformed data, we were able to create a precise visualization for Alliance Sales and Marketing to track their sales on a week-to-week basis, as well as provide them with differences over the years to ultimately increase their profits. Alliance Sales and Marketing can use the visualization to look closely within their products to see which have increased in sales over the year to continue to produce those products and possibly discontinue those products that have decreased in sales or are projected to decrease in the future. Alliance Sales and Marketing can use our visualization to look at all manufacturers as a whole and determine the overall average selling price and at which price provides them with the greatest number of sales. Or Alliance Sales and Marketing can look at specific manufacturers. For example, Alliance Sales and Marketing can look closely at specific manufacturers and determine from our visualization that when selling prices drop, their sales ultimately increase. Additionally, Alliance Sales and Marketing can use this visualization to determine the perfect average selling price that will ultimately increase their overall gross profit. Overall, our visualization will be extremely beneficial for Alliance Sales and Marketing when it comes to simplifying complex data to identify trends or patterns over the years and highlight areas for improvement, opportunities, or concerns to make more efficient business decisions.
Business understanding and data preparation for this project. For a business understanding, we need some background about this company. The company that needs this data is Alliance Sales and Marketing, a nationwide food broker considered a CPG, a consumer packaged goods marketing company. Alliance Sales and Marketing is headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina, and has 12 fully operating locations throughout the US. Their client makeup is 90% food and beverage companies. Their primary business is consulting, but they're considered a sales force for many brands. For smaller to medium-sized brands, Alliance Sales and Marketing becomes their sales infrastructure and retail connections. In the case of more prominent brands, they act as representatives for smaller retailers. They offer 4 different services for both retailers and brands. Those 4 services are sales, data and insight, marketing, and e-commerce. That was the introduction to the company itself. The problem presented with it is about their client's sales history. They need a tool to be able to track this. This will be completed through the use of a visualization. This tool will be invaluable to the company as it will provide a quick overview of their client's sales history. This will help the company obtain a quick tool to analyze demand, revenue, and sales growth/decline year over year on a weekly basis. For data understanding, to build, as explained in the previous section, the 4 business services that Alliance Sales and Marketing offers require tremendous amounts of data to function and provide the brands and retailers with the needed data to make decisions. We will need to concentrate on specific data for this data mining project. For this case, we want to create a visualization that shows us the sales in dollars of a product across multiple stores, alongside a comparison of this year and last year across the 52 weeks of a year. To accomplish this, the data we would need would go as follows. We would need the item scanned at a retail point, which tells us which item was scanned and from which manufacturer, alongside their categories and subcategories, which will give us the brand and who made it. In turn, we would need the manufacturer number and description. The manufacturer number connects to the manufacturer description, which allows us to create an ID for the manufacturer and connect it back to the item. The universal product code that allows us to track said item throughout the supply chain, the scanned movement, which tells us how many of certain item was scanned throughout a week. The average retail price for the products, which is simple. It's the average revenue of a product. It is obtained by dividing the scanned retail dollars by the scanned movement. And we would need all of this data for a weekly fashion.
ETL is a process that extracts data from multiple sources, transforms the extracted data so it has the ability to be analyzed, and loads the transformed data into a database to finally be analyzed. Once the data is extracted, transformed, and loaded, it can be used to address specific business needs and help make advanced decisions. The first step is the extract phase, which consists of retrieving raw data from various sources such as databases, files, and websites, where the structured and unstructured raw data is consolidated into a single unit to be analyzed. To create our visualization for Alliance Sales and Marketing, we extracted data from 4 different files to analyze it into a single centralized location. The second step is the transformation phase, where the data that has been extracted is cleaned and organized to ensure the data is accurate and correct. During the transformation stage, irrelevant and incorrect data is removed because it can cause errors while analyzing the data and can lead to making wrong decisions as it gives the wrong verdict. After we extracted the data from the 4 different files, we had to transform the raw data so that we could correctly load the data to create our visualization for the company so that they can correctly track their sales. We had to change some columns from text to number, as well as remove 11 rows to prevent problems and ensure that only the relevant and necessary data is loaded into our visualization so Alliance Sales and Marketing can correctly track their sales. Ultimately, combining this data provided us with the opportunity to gain insights that would have not been possible if not combined together into one single unit. The last step is the loading stage, which consists of inserting the transformed data into a data warehouse system to be shared and analyzed. After we extracted the data from the 4 different files into one single centralized location and then transformed the data so that only the relevant data is imported, we loaded the data and created the visualization for Alliance Sales and Marketing that will be useful for tracking their sales for each different product on a weekly basis, as well as the differences between previous years. Overall, ETL is extremely important as it allows businesses to extract data from various sources into one single data set and load only the transformed data that is relevant and important to the company that ultimately will be used to improve decision making. This process was extremely beneficial when it came to creating our visualization for Alliance Sales and Marketing because it ultimately provided the company with a correct and accurate representation of the true findings for their products.
Hello, my name is Rory Gibbon. I'm in charge of the model building. Here you can see the total sales point in dollars. This graph shows the sales based on price, so you can see the price of different products throughout the years of the weeks of the year. We have the purple line depicting price in 2020 and the orange line depicting price in 2019, with the bar graphs depicting the sales. You can see a relationship between sales and price. Higher demand comes from a lower price, and that was what we were able to find through this model. This is more of our model building built in Power BI. You can see all the data sets interact with one another through the master table. By taking in all the different data sets, we were able to create a master table and therefore create a graphs based on multiple variables at once and kind of combine the data, and that was able to give us the final answer that we were looking for and be able to manipulate those variables as we choose to.
So to verify that our model worked, we just inputted 3 basic slicers into BI, and those slicers included stores, how much they sold of various products, and also a date and time slider. And as you see the graph to the right, upon modifying those sliders in BI, the graph and model does in fact work. So what do we come up with? There's a lot of information we could have displayed, but we're going to pick 2 very basic ones here. That's most dollars sold and least dollars sold. As you look to the top right graph, you'll see that Yakult yogurt did the most sales out of any kind of yogurt, and those sales were done in the Food for Less store. they grossed about $54,000. Now, on the flip side, you'll see that we actually had a store go in the negative, and that was Fred Meyer for their markdown products. Typically, markdown products are marked down to clear the shelves and relieve space for new inventory. Traditionally, I would assume it's good business practice to sell for any kind of profit and not for a loss. In the case of Fred Meyer, they actually went negative $850. Now, I'm not entirely sure of Alliance's full policy. However, if a store is allowed to sell products for a loss, I'm surprised that Fred Meyer is the only one.
Although this project was full of challenges and obstacles while we were transforming and loading the data, we were able to overcome them to create a visualization that will help Alliance Sales and Marketing improve their decision making to ultimately generate more sales. To do so, we created a visualization to help Alliance Sales and Marketing track their sales data as well as compare the sales data to previous years on a week-to-week basis. While transforming the raw data, we received a few errors because we did not change the columns to fit their description and forgot to remove the duplicated data. For example, the columns that were in numbers were characterized as text, which resulted in us having an incorrect and unrealistic visualization that would provide Alliance Sales and Marketing with inaccurate and misleading conclusions regarding the relationship between average selling price per product and the effect it has on total sales for the company. If Alliance Sales and Marketing were to use a misleading visualization, it could lead to poor decision making and missed opportunities. While creating our corrected visualization, we were able to come to multiple findings regarding what will help the firms in the future. We determined that there is a relationship between the sale price for a given product and the effect that it holds on the overall sales for the product. We concluded that the increase in sale price in 2020 could have been driven up due to COVID-19 complications, resulting in a decrease in total sales. In addition, we concluded that it is important to look at it from a location standpoint and understand that certain areas are going to sell certain things better. By looking at a store on a case-by-case basis, you can understand how demand shifts for each one. And knowing this demand will help the ordering amounts needed to keep the shelves stocked, but not allow any to go to waste.